get it right this time.
Do you think it is possible to control someone's mind? This speech will be about the background, history, process, and benefits of the CIA's use of LSD and other mind control techniques to control people's minds in a project they called MK Ultra. Starting in 1953, the Central Intelligence Agency conducted numerous tests and research on psychedelic drugs as part of a top secret project codenamed MK Ultra, according to History.com. History. Different parts, throughout history, mind control has been used ever since the witch hunts, which were used to get people to falsely proclaim guilty or provide that they were witches, which was not true. Hoptel Bernheim in the 1800s started using hypnosis as a form of mind control. By 1937, the Moscow trials, which was put on by Joseph Stalin, he put the old Bolshevik party leaders on trial. And by the end of the trial, he had them proclaiming that they were enemies of the state and needed to be executed. So by the end of the trials, it was a public knowledge that mind control was possible. And this was according to History's Mysteries video posted to YouTube. Now that we know some background and history on mind control, let's talk about the process. The CIA got really into mind control during the Cold War. They saw it as an advantage or being able to stay a step ahead of the Russians during the Cold War. This is when the OSS started, or the Office of Strategic Services. This was headed up by William J. Donovan. He was looking for ways to defeat the Germans and the Japanese during World War II by any means necessary, according to CIA.gov. The OSS was the first agency of the government to start using narcotics or any type of other drugs to perform mind control techniques. By 1955, Allen Dulles became the director of the CIA. He decided that he was taking action against other countries who were suspected of using mind control techniques on American POWs. So by 1953, he appointed Dr. Sidney Gottlieb the head of a project he called MK Ultra. Dr. Gottlieb became the head of MK Ultra and started using LSD to conduct many experiments in mind control. The first testings of LSD were done on college students who were offered $25 for a weekend of testing. And other tests were also done on prisoners for extended periods of time, sometimes lasting up to 80 hours. This was according to CIA.gov. After a few experiments, Dr. Gottlieb realized that his test subjects were not that useful because it was a controlled environment. He realized he needed an uncontrolled group. So he began doing these tests on fellow CIA coworkers. What he would do was take 2 or 3 coworkers, give them LSD to slip to their fellow coworkers during the middle of the day so he could administer these tests. After a while, obviously, it didn't work in his favor because hours of tripping and hallucinating, the CIA task force became not exactly as effective as they should have been in their work. So he went another route, and the CIA set up a series of brothels in San Francisco, naming the project Operation Midnight Climax. What Operation Midnight Climax did was give prostitutes LSD to give to their clients, while the CIA sat on the other side of a two-way mirror to monitor their behaviors. This was according to DiscoverMagazine.com. The CIA continued to use unwitting subjects on U.S. soldiers and civilians, unknown civilians. And in 1964, the CIA began winding down experiments and ended these experiments altogether in 1973, according to Time.com. The CIA is supposedly destroyed and was ordered to shut it down immediately, according to CIA.gov. In conclusion, I have found through my research that MKUltra is probably just one of many government secrets that makes you wonder throughout the history how many life-altering historic events might have been controlled or because of the government altered throughout time in history. The benefits of MKUltra were non-existent. They benefited nobody and did nothing but harm to anyone.